Hey, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at a solo blues composition that you can play all by yourself, and it's fairly easy to play. Now, this is something I'm playing on an acoustic guitar, although you could do this on electric as well, and I'm playing it with a pick. So those of you that are intimidated by fingerstyle, you don't have to worry. You can get your picks out and hang on to them for this week's lesson. So we're going to break down everything that I played in the intro, note for note. I'll show you how to do it, and I'll also put all those notes into context so that you can steal some of these licks and start to improvise in this style on your own. So I've got the lesson split into two parts. In this video, we'll take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half, as well as download the tablature and access that really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer, you'd want to go to ActiveMelody.com, go to the lessons page, and do a search for EP211. That's a lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with the first half. Alright, so this composition is played in the key of E, and it's a call and response type setup. And what I mean by that is the call happens over and over again. It repeats. The call would be something like, and then the response would be some kind of a lead lick that you play in response to that call. One of them was, so you put the two pieces together and you have a composition. And when you're playing solo guitar like this, that's a really easy way to do that. Every time you play the call, you're creating context for the lead licks to make sense. Otherwise, you're just playing lead licks on their own without any kind of reference to anything. So that's kind of why we're doing it that way. Now, the first thing I do with my left hand is I go ahead and make an E chord down in first position. And the first note that's played is the open E string, or that open 6th string. And then I play the whole E chord, both downstrokes. Ring finger comes to the 2nd fret, 5th string, and I slide up to the 4th fret on the 5th string. Then I bar with my index finger on the 2nd fret, strings 1 through 4. And I go ahead and play that. Now I'm really just playing an A chord with a C sharp in the bass. Some of you know, most of you know your A chord like this. This is another way to make it, where you just have a different note in the bass. Think of it as a chord, and it's an inversion in a way. And then we're back to the E chord. So here's the cadence of that. So it sounds like this. All downstrokes with the right hand. Do it again. And you can, to get this thing going, just practice doing that. And really what you're doing, you're playing the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord. Now, the first lead lick that I played goes like this. And what I'm doing is I'm playing in pattern 4 of the major pentatonic scale for the key of E. Now, pattern 4, this is a must know. This will be a big takeaway for some of you. When you're playing the key of E, you have the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on string 6, string 5, and string 4. And you can do so much in that when you're playing rhythm. I find myself always coming down to this little area and improvising. And so just remember that. You've got this little, and it's easy to see because it's like a little box there. Now, one other note that we're going to add to that is on the 4th string here. We're going to slide up to the 6th fret, and we'll play that note in just a minute. But it's all major pentatonic scale, pattern 4. Okay, so the first lick, it goes, I start here on the 2nd fret, 5th string, slide up to the 4th fret again. Now I'm on the 4th string and play the 2nd fret. Do a hammer onto the 4th fret, back to the 2nd fret. That's all on the 4th string there. And then we go, and that's just 4th fret, 2nd fret on the 5th string, open 6th string. So all together. And then we're right back. Every time you're hitting that low 6th string, think of that as now we're back into the call. So that's the beginning of the call every time. So practice. And you can just keep looping that until you start to get it down from a timing perspective. Now you may want to set a metronome or tap your foot or do something to help you stay on tempo. But that's the first leg. Now the second leg goes, and a lot of this is sometimes it's not playing notes. So by holding that, it sounds more like the human voice to me. So what I'm doing here is I'm on the 4th string and I'm sliding up from the 4th fret to the 6th fret. That's that note, extra note I showed you in that major pentatonic scale. Okay, so this is all on the 4th string here. We go 6, 4, 2. And then we're going to go 4, 2 again on the 5th string. And then we're back to the call. All right, so let's back up and play it from the beginning. We have there's the first lick. There's the second. Now we're going to go to the 5 chord, which is a B7. And what we do here is we do this little walk down. Now remember this, because I want you to be able to use this when you're improvising down the road. And what I'm doing here is I'm sliding up to this 6th fret 4th string, which I just showed you. But then I've got my index finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret. So you're making a little box. Think of it as play a note, skip a fret, play a note. And we're going to hit those together. It's a double stop. We're going to walk it down one, and then we're going to walk it down one more. And now, when you're playing these 2 notes, you're playing a B7. Think of a B7 chord. If you were to make it like this, you're just playing those 2 notes out of that chord. So that's what you did, is you walked from here down to that B7. And without me even playing the chord, just by playing that double stop with that harmony in there, you already kind of know instinctively, or as you're listening to it, you know what's happening. And then I did this bass walk up, which is pretty cool. All of this is hinging off the B chord. So always remember to anchor everything that you're learning to a chord. So if you can visualize that B chord using the A chord shape. So there's those notes out of that. So just kind of file that away. So if you're playing a D chord, you got that same little thing happening. And then you can do the walk up. So that you're up in this position. You're still playing that same B chord. Now you've just got a D sharp in the bass. All right, so we have. Now from here, I do this little country thing that goes. Love that. And all I'm doing here, when I'm in this position, is I'm barring the first 4 strings on the 4th fret, and really that's just playing a B chord. If you look at it, think of that chord shape, just playing those notes out of it. So I can do the hammer on here between the 4th fret and the 6th fret on the 4th string. Now I'm playing strings 4 and 3 at the same time. Sounds great because you get a little harmony in there. And then I put my ring finger on the 6th fret 5th string, and as soon as I hit it, I slide it down to the 4th string. I'm sorry, down to the 4th fret. And then I come down all the way down to the 2nd fret 5th string. So all together that B7 part goes. And then to conclude that, I played a lick that goes. And it gets us right back to the 1 chord. Pretty cool. Love this lick. So what I'm doing, I'm using my ring finger 4th fret 4th string, sliding up to the 6th fret on the 4th string, and then index finger on the 4th fret 3rd string, 6th fret 3rd string. You can see we're still playing these little boxes. Now once I come up to this note, 6th fret 3rd string, put my middle finger on the 6th fret 4th string, and immediately slide it down to the 4th fret. So it goes. And then my index finger down on the 2nd fret 4th string. And then we do 4, 2 on the 5th string. And then there's that open 6th string again. And every time you play that, you know you've gone right back to the call. Okay, so let me back up. We'll stop there. Let me back up and play from the beginning, everything up to that point. Alright, Alright, so the song resets at this point, and we keep the same format, but if you'll notice, now I'm starting to get a little more into the blues. It's starting to sound a little more bluesy. And that was intentional. I just wanted to kind of build from a major thing, very happy, very positive, into something a little more, I don't know, serious or dramatic sounding. So let me give you one of those, and that'll be the end of part 1, and we'll save the rest for the second video, because we're kind of at about the halfway point in this. So let me show you that lick. So middle finger on the 2nd fret, 4th string, and that's just in the E chord. That's just a note in the E chord. So is this note, which is the 1st fret, 3rd string. Middle finger goes down now on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And then I slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And what just happened here in my mind is I went ahead and switched to the minor pentatonic scale, pattern 2. So pattern 1 looks like that for E. Pattern 2 is here. And if you don't know what I mean when I say pattern 2 or pattern 1, I go over the 5 patterns of the minor pentatonic scale in the blues lead course at Active Melody. But anyway, what we've done is slid up to pattern 2, and I put my ring finger now on the 5th fret, 2nd string, and that's just another note in that minor pentatonic scale, pattern 2. So after I hit that note, I slide back with my middle finger. It's really nice to get that slide in there. It sounds more organic. So we're going from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. And then I take my finger off and do a hammer on. So it's an open G string, or the open 3rd string, and hammer on to the 1st fret. So all together, we have that. Now what happens here, when I hammer on with my index finger, I go ahead and just build the rest of the E chord. That's one of the notes in the chord anyway. So that I can go. So when you put all that together, we're right back into the call. See how that works? So everything is leading back to that call. So when you start to try and improvise, now that you kind of have some of these notes that you can work with in some of the scale positions, just remember to always try and resolve it on that 6th string. It makes it easy to go right into the call. Okay, so that's where we're going to end part 1. I'll back up now and I'll play through all of that slowly one more time so you have this as a final reference, and then I'll see you in part 2 for the rest of this. So here we go.